then I'll start accepting donations. So I don't think right now there's certainly no necessity of raising money until we get through the county assembly. Now, after that, that's a whole different ballgame. Right now, I need volunteers. So I've got a sign-up sheet over here. If you guys would like to support me and help me out with canvassing precincts and going door to door, finding people who believe in constitutional government, who believe in equality under law and real free markets, not the crony capitalist free market, the so-called free market that they're blaming everything on. But you know, we need people who really believe in these fundamental philosophies of what it means to be an American. And if we can get out and round up these folks and get them down to the county assembly, then we'll get through the county assembly process into the third CD delegation, and from there I'll probably start accepting funding.
David, you call yourself a small L libertarian.
Oh, what?
A small L libertarian.
A small L libertarian?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what's the difference between a big L and a small L libertarian.
Card carrying.
Oh, you know, I believe in property rights. Individuals first of all own themselves. They have the right to control their property, and they have the right to and we have a system of contract. We have a right to defend ourselves. I mean, it all comes down to individual ownership. And I don't know if you want to call that libertarianism, sure, I believe so, but it's truly, what it is in actuality is it's classical liberalism. So yeah, I'm a classical liberal.
That's my two questions. I'll let somebody else ask.
Are there any other questions? Gary.
What is the 3rd district? What is its area?
The 3rd district is one of the largest districts in the entire nation. Jamie, what is it, the 4th largest? Or?
Yeah, I don't know, 29 counties.
29 counties, and the counties are all the way down to Pueblo, the southeast corner of Colorado, along the south, into the mountains, around to the Utah and Arizona Four Corners region, all the way up to the northern border along Wyoming. And it's a huge, huge region. It's like Jamie said, it's 29 counties, but mainly I would describe it as the Continental Divide, west all the way down to the New Mexico border, plus a few spots over in the southeast. That would be my best explanation of what it is. Any other questions? What do you guys want? What do you folks see as the highest priority?
Limited government. Limited
government, absolutely.
Leave the economy alone so it can recover.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lawful resolution process to bankruptcy. We cannot have too big to fail corporations. We cannot allot to one group of people one set of rules. We'll give them debt forgiveness, but to the rest of you, you're going to lose your home. You're going to go to the bankruptcy court, and your assets are going to be dissolved to your creditors. That's a double standard, and that's not how the system's supposed to work or can work. Or is work? I mean, it's clearly not working now. All it's working for are the elite interests that control it.
Bringing the government back to close as it can be to the people, and shutting down the black hole in space that Washington, D.C. has become, where it takes away everything that most of the people in this country can make above what it takes them to survive.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. Absolutely.
How do people become delegates?
To become a delegate to the county assembly, you need to go to your precinct caucus, which is coming up on March 4th. And if on March 4th, you must attend your precinct caucus. At that point, you can volunteer to become a delegate to the county assembly. And actually this year, since it's not a presidential year, there's a very good chance if you go to your precinct caucus that you'll be able to be voted a delegate. Scott Tipton does not have a significant level of support amongst his grassroots because he simply isn't taking action on the most important issues that we care about. So I don't see that we're going to have a huge Tipton faction that is going to try to run me out, especially in this county. I may be wrong, but nonetheless, it's up to us to get into the precinct caucus, get our delegates to the county assembly, and then at that point we can try to get a vote to support me at the state assembly. Go ahead, Gary.
When I go in and I want to sign up, I'm going to go in as a Republican, which I am. When can I switch over to get behind you in the caucus, or do I not? Don't have to.
I am running as a Republican. I'm running for the Republican nomination. Tom.
I have a question I always ask candidates and no one has yet been able to answer. How do you run a campaign against Santa Claus?
How do you run a campaign against Santa Claus? Well, you just point out that he's not real, and if you say it enough times over and over and over, I don't know. I think that people are starting to wake up and realize that Santa Claus isn't real. Any other questions? Don?
What kind of reception are you getting from the local Republican Party in Mesa?
What do you think? Let's see. I was called an unserious candidate by Ryan Call, our supposed unaffiliated Republican. What is he, the chairman?
State
Republican
chairman.
state chairman. He's supposedly not partisan. He's not trying to support any portion of his constituency, but that doesn't seem to be the way it is when he calls me an unserious candidate. I don't know. I'm serious about it. I'm dead serious. But yeah, I think that the Republican leadership has been very, very poor for a long time. And I don't know that is lost on the membership. And I think that a lot of folks are just really starting to, rather than depend on someone else to tell them what the best call is, I think that folks are starting to use their own head and make their own decisions more. Becca, did you have a question? All right, well, if there aren't any questions, go ahead, sorry.
Scott, what was his name?
Tipton?
Tipton was here, and I asked him a question. And he told me, well, you'll have to see the other party, they're in power. Instead of going back to Washington, D.C. with my problem and taking leadership, he said, oh, you need to see
Hey,
the other
blame
party.
everyone else. Standard.
So I would never vote for him again.
What is your problem?
Well, I asked him, like, you can only, when you have stock market losses, you can only claim $3,000 a year off your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That stopped in 1973. And you got $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 losses, and you're my age, 82, you could never use it up.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, I understand your problem, but you're going to have to talk to the other.
Well, that's why we don't need an income tax. If we don't have an income tax and we don't have tinkering and a 75,000-page booklet that reads like the largest book ever written and is specifically structured for special interests and specifically structured to crush the small man and the independent man.
See, they raised it in 72 to 2,000, 1973 to 3,000, and they haven't raised it since.
Yeah, well,
That's not
that's the income tax for you.
need a congressman to get hold of that and make it right.
Grab that tiger by the tail.
They don't have to raise it up to 50, but just raise it up a year, maybe to 5, and then keep raising it every year. I know they want to squeeze us for all the taxes they can get. But they should squeeze Obama.
Well, we should squeeze the federal government and squeeze all of the waste and corruption out of it, and we would have such a small requirement for income that the tax rate could go down for everybody.
Just impeach Obama, and you'd be right there.
And I think you're on the right track.
Corporations that pay their taxes, we wouldn't have.
If I could just say, just to clarify a little bit about the caucus and assembly process. So if you're already registered as a Republican, you have to have been registered as a Republican on January 1st or 4th. If you were registered as a Republican on that day, You're eligible to attend your local Republican precinct caucus on March 4th. I think it's like 6 o'clock in the evening. It's only about an hour. You can call the county clerk's office and find out where your precinct is. And then, I'm getting this right, Kent? 7 o'clock it's going to be on March 4th. So at that day, since it's an off year, it's not a presidential year, you'll probably show up to your precinct, there'll probably be 5 people there. And you say, I'd like to run for delegate, and it's better to kind of just say, you know, I want to run for delegate because, not to say I want to support David Cox or whatever, but just to say what you believe in. I want to run for delegate because I believe in limited government and getting the federal government out of education and healthcare, whatever you're passionate about. So you'll say, I want to run, you say your name, you have 5 people there will vote on who's going to go to the county assembly on March 29th, which is a Saturday, March 29th, at Warrior High School, or whatever they call it, out on Warrior Way there. On Saturday, March 29th, that'll be the county assembly. There'll be about 200 or 300 delegates total, right? Do you know how many it is? 250. So there'll be 250 people there, and the alternates, some. So there'll be 250 delegates, and then those people David will get up and speak, Scott McGinnis will get up and speak, Greg McKinnis will get up and speak, Greg Palmer will get up and speak, Steve King will get up and speak. If anyone else wants to run for sheriff against Steve King, you can get up and speak.
God, let's hope so.
And then those 250 people will vote, and if David gets 30%, if Scott McGinnis gets 30%, they'll be on the ballot. If anyone gets 71%, they knock the other competitors out of the Republican ticket from getting a primary. So it's very simple and very easy to, you know, be one of 250 people who has a pretty significant voice. Let's thank David Cox once again.
Your support is much appreciated. It's really is daunting to put yourself out in public and know that I'm going to be slaughtered by the media, the Daily Sentinel, and I don't care. I'm committed to doing what I believe is right, and I believe that this message of individual liberty, property rights, and constitutional government is what's right, and it allows us each to make our decisions and live our lives according to the best way we know possible. And of course, the repercussions of those decisions are on us. That's how this system is supposed to work. But that's not the way it's working now, and it's in a headlong sprint towards outright socialism and having government control of everything, and everything is, you know, on the government. I think that that's the most horrible possible future I can imagine, and I do not want my child to grow up with that, and I'm willing to take any repercussions necessary in order to stop it. So thank you guys for having that commitment too, because I know that you all believe in the freedom that we enjoy and the society that we've enjoyed. So appreciate you coming out.